to the second edition of Daily Crane Sport. And I'm here to keep you posted on everything you need to know in sports, especially those of the fighting variety. So to get started today, I got some quick picks for you. Luka Doncic receives first-team All-NBA honors in his second season in the league, along with LeBron James, Giannis, James Harden, and Anthony Davis. Scary lineup. Two players I really enjoy, Peyton Manning and Charles Woodson, are both heading to Canton in the NFL Hall of Fame in 2021. LeBron James actually made his record 16th All-NBA team. Has this guy even played more than 16 seasons? The Denver Nuggets beat the Toronto Raptors in Game 7 of the Western Conference Semis 111-98, advancing to the Western Conference Finals. Dana White claims Dustin Poirier didn't want to fight Tony Ferguson. It had nothing to do with negotiations. Paulo Costa says he has in-depth violent plans of fighting John Jones. Reports emerge of a possible Canelo versus Triple G3 in 2021. And finally, San Francisco 49er Richard Sherman is hurt bad. The Western Conference Finals are set between LeBron James, the Los Angeles Lakers, and Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. This should be interesting. So first, we got to look at some key players on both sides. For the Los Angeles Lakers, who else but LeBron James?
From downtown, here comes LBJ! Now it's LeBron, looking for his first assist. And 7, they have yet to trail. LeBron trying to bully his way in with one hand!
LeBron James is the definition of a freak athlete, better than anyone who's ever lived. This man is 6'8", 280 pounds, runs a 4.3 in the 40-yard dash, and can jump over a Mercedes box van. He is so determined to get better at every single stage. No one works harder than LeBron James. He is also one of the most immensely skilled players ever in the NBA. If there is a move or a tactic or something you can do, LeBron James knows it. He has a really nice clutch gene. He is able to make big shots when it matters. And we all know he is a possible GOAT. I mean, you can't deny it. He is so good at everything. It is his first year at point guard, and he's leading the league in assists. His season averages are 25.3 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 10.2 assists. Next, I got to talk about Anthony Davis, the Brow himself.
Job with the low dribble.
Danny Green, long, D! What a play! Showtime! The Kumbo, and it's picked up by LeBron. Down court, Anthony Davis! Sledgehammer at the other end, out racing out to the Kumbo.
Anthony Davis is an explosive, long, lanky athlete who is a great rim protector and lob catcher. Like I said, he is very useful on both sides. He's a very good rebounder. He just has a lot of purposes, and one of the biggest uses for him is just to catch lobs from LeBron James. You know, he's going to dish him perfectly right by the rim. And for the Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokic.
Jokic, put it up. 9 to shoot. Barton out to Jokic. Jokic falling away. Go!
Range from the three-point line. Found it right there.
Oh! Inside, yes. Oh, he missed it. Jokic, long pass. Harris has it, and he puts it away.
There's a reason in one of my old raps I said I ball like Nikola Jokic. This guy's deadly. They don't call him the Joker for nothing. He's a 7-foot European player with that typical European skill. He is just so good at technically creating space for shots. He has that really nice jumper that kind of gets released from behind his head, so it's really hard to block even if you're athletic and tall. His passing is unbelievable, even though his assist stats aren't as high as they should be right now. Make no mistake about it, he's one of the best passers in the league. There's a reason that when the NBA was on pause during coronavirus, Nikola Jokic lost 40 pounds. Because he was moved from center to point guard. And his passing and playmaking ability is what makes it possible for him to do this. Nikola Jokic is a great team player. However, he can step up and score that basketball in the goal when you need him to. Whenever he's able to get inside the paint, he has really nice touch on a little floater. So when he's able to get in the post, Nikola Jokic is really good at pivoting both ways, using good proper footwork, and getting around you and booting up a hook shot or a fadeaway. On the season, he is averaging 25.4 points, 10.8 rebounds, and 6 assists. Nikola Jokic definitely a force in the NBA for many years to come. So Jamal Murray. This guy is slowly becoming a real problem in the NBA.
5 o'clock early start. Murray up and under, off the glass. 6 to shoot. Murray on Connaughton, trying to get by. 2 to shoot. Murray lets it go. Yes! Sling it under to Jokic. Great pass.
Into Murray. Murray lets it fly. Yes!
He shows a butter silk smooth game when he's driving and knifing through defenders on his way to the basket. He's very methodical. It seems like every move he makes is just kind of really well thought out. And another thing I've noticed is he's starting to get better and better at finishing in traffic right by the rim. So, how do I see the Western Conference Finals playing out? It's kind of hard to go against LeBron James right now. He arguably should have been the MVP, especially considering Giannis fell to the Heat. Like I said, LeBron has many big men around him that he's able to lob passes to by the rim, and then him himself is just a genius and can score from anywhere. However, the Denver Nuggets are on a tear. They just took out the Los Angeles Clippers, who in many people's eyes were the favorites to win the championship. That being said, they are a very unselfish team. They spread the ball well all around the court. Nikola Jokic is constantly setting up Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., while also scoring and rebounding himself. This is a tough one, but I'm going to take the Denver Nuggets in 7 games. I think it's going to be a pretty good, pretty back and forth series. Rumors have emerged of Canelo versus Triple G 3 being scheduled in 2021. If this is true, I'm ecstatic. I'm a huge fan of both guys, especially Triple G. Canelo Álvarez is your typical hardworking Hispanic fighter.
These fighters can think about Triple G. They need to think about what's in front of them. We are 1/3 into this prize fight. I would say it's time for Canelo Álvarez to wake up. That's true. Like left from higher ring IQ, and tricky style.
Body shot from Canelo, digging.
He had a moment. He needs to press his advantage. Instead, he's eating big right uppercuts from Álvarez. Oh, awesome, man.
Yes, it was.
Sweat fly.
Right hand from Canelo. Chavez eating it. Smirking, but no. Uppercut landed from Canelo. Jab from Canelo. Right hand from Guadalajara. Oh, that was...
I mean, Álvarez is nonchalantly kicking Chavez's ass.
This guy's been professional since he was 15 years old. He grew up in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, and trained his ass off every day of his life. Canelo is a tremendously drilled fighter. The evidence of this is early on in his career, you could see he was not near as slick as he is in present day. The only way you develop those reflexes and fast twitch motion is through repetitive drilling. And there's many videos of Canelo's drills online. Canelo has amazing head movement. In his last couple fights, he's almost been like a phantom in there. Daniel Jacobs just couldn't put his glove on his head to save his life. Early on in his career, was a tremendous combination puncher. That was his main avenue through success, was opening up his opponent's guard through varying attacks from varying angles. And as he's developed, he's gained this ability to time these big power shots and knock people out cold. His body work is outstanding. In situations where most fighters, after landing something upstairs or a good feint, would only land 1 shot to the body, Canelo sometimes will land 2 or 3. Those body shots are pennies in your piggy bank of wearing down your opponent. And as I said, the more he's progressed, his power has become more explosive and more dynamic. He's produced a lot of one-shot KOs in recent memory. Triple G, Kazakh Thunder.
Full first round for Golovkin, but an effective first round so far as he's landing his jab, and Lemieux hasn't landed much of anything. Ramsey, and the general consensus is he's been a better fighter since then. Golovkin lands a right hand. In this round, lands a jab, and gets inside for the Lemieux back a little bit anyway. Jab lands again. Jab lands again. Golovkin might have a chance to catch him with a power shot coming in. Body shot by Golovkin. Right hand lands. Right hand lands again. Knocks Lemieux into the ropes. Left hook for Golovkin. Body shot by Golovkin. And talk about getting hit. There was the left hook. And Lemieux is hurt. And here goes Golovkin. Looking to finish already in round number 4. Here we go.
He sees the skills of Triple G. He throws a beautiful left hook while blocking a beautiful left hook at the same time.
Vicious body shot with the right hand. Hard. Body will never tip over too much to one side or another, and your feet will always be solid underneath you.
Oh, that body shot early, Joe.
Try to win by disqualification.
Like Monday.
Hard right hand by Golovkin. Lemieux is hurt against the rope. Another leg.
Punches landed against the fighter, in a sense.
Good right hand by Lemieux, but the uppercut by Golovkin drives him back into the ropes. The body shot hurt him again.
That hurt him.
Body shot scores the knockdown.
Got well placed by Triple G.
Murray using his feet now, trying to run down the second time. following the knockdown.
Arm swirling around him, Golovkin. He stays calm. It's the reason he's able to place those punches so accurately.
Eventually wore the brave challenger down. Tremendous right-hand shot by Golovkin on the canvas. That was a colossal right-hand shot. And now Pavon's going to stop it.
Triple G is 41-1. His one loss and draw are both to Canelo Álvarez. Very unorthodox, with many weird angled punches, still able to incorporate some pretty slick defense early on in his career. He's somewhat reminiscent of the Terminator. It seems like whatever you hit him with, it doesn't matter, he just doesn't feel it, and he's gonna hit you back. He has what I like to call invisible power. A lot of his shots, when you look at them, they don't look physically that hard, like there was much force behind them. Something about some of these guys, their forearm muscles are so strong, or just their hands are so solid, or there's some factor out there that just makes it when they land their fist to your face, it does damage. Exponentially more damage than the average person. He has iron will, and I am willing to say the best chin ever in boxing history. Canelo cracked Triple G a few times, and he just didn't even budge. And also, Triple G is much slicker than what meets the eye. It seems like when you watch his fights, he's just a brute that goes forward, but he's able to employ a lot of good tactics, including rhythm manipulation, feints, body work, and big looping punches that come from an odd angle. So to help me further explain some of these techniques that Triple G does, I got my good friend Peter, who's also the director of the Daily Crane. So feints. Triple G uses a lot of feints. There's several ways you can set up feints, and I'll explain just a kind of quick, simple one. All right, so Triple G, one thing he loves to do is a lot of jab feints, okay? So if I feint my jab and Peter shows me that he's gonna slip to the outside, like that, the next thing I can do is, you know, after a few more exchanges, the next time I can feint my jab, and when he goes to slip, I can come back with a big left hook that he's gonna dodge right into. And Triple G just does this in so many different ways and varieties. Another thing Triple G loves to do is manipulate rhythm, which is a very effective technique in any form of striking. Things is he loves to just throw a big slow loaded up left hook that's just really wide. He'll throw that, get you to get your hand up, and then right after just come back with a very quick jab. You can also manipulate rhythm in the opposite way. You can start off fast and end slow. He loves to come in with a quick 1, 2, 3, take a little bit more time, and then come with a really hard right hand, which can give you just enough time for your opponent to drop their hands or just be off guard. In the first fight, Triple G landed a good bit more and had better ring control. He was mostly just walking Canelo down, landing a good jab, every now and then landing his power hand, but he wasn't that good with it. It was mostly his lead hand that he was landing with. Canelo landed all the eye-catching shots. He didn't land the same volume as Triple G, but he was able to land really pretty powerful shots, every shot that he did land almost. Triple G, however, wore the damage better than Canelo did. Whenever Canelo landed big shots on Triple G, he didn't even flinch. And when Triple G landed some medium shots on Canelo, you could almost see him kind of shook. And at one point, after Canelo lands a huge overhand right, you can see it in Canelo's eyes. He's just kind of discouraged that Triple G ate that. However, Canelo did show that he could turn it up when he needs to, and he has deceptive cardio as he rallied in the later rounds.
Just edging a little bit closer. That's good though from Álvarez.
Good movement. Ooh, and that's again a shake of the head from
Good right hand there from Golovkin. Sorry, and Álvarez just landing back. Oh, good shot.
Oh, crowd on their feet after that big right hand was landed from Golovkin. Bravado from the Mexican. Rounds to be won, more importantly, the way this fight has gone. Couple land from
Good right hand there as well from Golovkin.
Oh, and he
just caught Álvarez as he was throwing.
And Golovkin's getting through now. This is what we want. Oh, lovely uppercut there from Canelo.
It was a nice little... Oh, good shot.
And now they go at it. Oh! Huge right hand from Canelo, and Golovkin didn't budge. Oh! I think he was off balance, Golovkin. Crowd think he was hurt. Nothing in those shots from the Mexican. And he's on the back foot again. Oh, it's all Triple G. Fantastic round of boxing. Crowd on their feet. Here start.
Fantastic work, but look at Golovkin. just walking through it.
Crowd sensing the end is near, on their feet.
Oh, what a right hand there from Álvarez and Golovkin.
Swinging away at each other. They might not hear the bell.
It did make it pretty close, but I thought Triple G clearly won. If you're going by the system of scoring rounds, he easily won like 7 rounds to 5 or 8 rounds to 4. In the second meeting, both guys performed significantly better than they did in the first fight. Canelo, this fight, went forward with aggression and body work and big shots. Triple G showed some versatility though and was adapting, punching Canelo while moving backwards, countering and whatnot. It was pretty cool to see. Canelo looked sharp as a knife, and at one point in the later rounds was able to rock Triple G for the first time I've ever seen in his career. Triple G also rocked Canelo multiple times and stayed right with him throughout the whole fight.
Middleweight contenders, middleweight title holders, they need to be in the middleweight division wants to fight him. Gennady, you see it's red, and there's
Gennady Golovkin is evident here in the second. Being effective.
Wild swing and a miss, countered by Covington. As he has so far in this fight. 28 years.
Yeah.
Although he just missed right there with the left hook.
He's not doing Abel Sanchez hacks with the feints. I don't think those blows will do anything, but they...
Loads up with a left, started from his hip.
See, the thing is here, G. Hook from Canelo.
Golovkin lands a compact left hook that's almost like a...
Getting better and better. T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas.
Close quarters, Triple G misses with the
speed. 1 second. That body shot landed.
Canelo falls short of his jab, eats a stiff jab from Golovkin, who misses with the hook. Canelo misses with the right uppercut. Both men throwing with bad intentions. Canelo comes over the top with an overhand right.
He's doing a good job. Canelo is very effective in this fight. Sometimes Triple G got the upper hand, and Canelo got the upper hand.
Good back and forth action between go at it. And Canelo has connected very well to the body in this round. Forehead to forehead, the right uppercut finds its mark to the chin of Canelo Álvarez. Álvarez comes back. Golovkin lands a right hand. Canelo comes back with the right hand, left hook combination. I think that's an energy. I think it's an...
Oh, good right hand from Gennady Golovkin.
That right hand might have shook Canelo just a little bit.
It might have. Canelo has his hands down.
Canelo grazes him with the hook. Triple G comes back with a huge right hand that may have rocked Canelo Álvarez. Here's a different angle of the right hand landing.
Power shot.
He ate a huge right hand.
Can something change getting stronger? Because there it goes again.
Yep, another solid right hand from Gennady Golovkin.
G's reading the clothes right now. Oh, his legs don't look right there.
Yeah, Canelo's defense.
We winning this fight as far as I know. But let me tell you something. Right now, it's becoming a fight in the championship rounds.
A minute. And that, to me, that's boxing at its best. When they push beyond the sport aspect of it.
It's only 3 minutes. Oh, but not here. In the 12th final round, they're coming at him. He got buckled. Triple G landed a sip. Crowd standing on their feet. Tired. Flash of heads. Everything is aching. Everything is hurting. That's when you reach down into the heart and show what you have. Uppercut from Canelo. Right hand blocked by Gennady. The best against the best. Exactly, Doug Fisher. Wow.
This is the big round we contested.
Canelo saying, let's go. Gennady nodding his head. Let's do it. The show it's been tonight. Elite.
In my opinion, this one was the real draw. And the third fight, I'm sorry, but I don't think it's that much of a question. And that's unfortunate for me, considering how big of a Triple G fan I am. But he is older now, and he's past his prime, and he's not looked good in his last outing in the ring. Canelo has looked consistently better. He is on fire and showing crazy power. I would have to go with Canelo, maybe even by stoppage. If he does, it would probably be by about the 8th round. So I must discuss the UFC Fight Night this Saturday, Colby Covington versus Tyron Woodley. There are a number of good fights on this, so I'm going to start with Khamzat Chimaev versus Gerald Meerschaert. Earlier in my videos, I didn't know too much about Khamzat. I didn't even know how to say his name. I said Khamzat and I said Chimaev. Well, I watched a couple of this guy's fights and I liked what I saw. The first thing I immediately noticed is how fast, how slick, and how precise his level changes off strikes were. He had a really good ability to get the guy he was fighting to think upwards, and then he just shot with incredible speed and precision. He appears to have freakish strength when it comes to controlling somebody on the ground. It's very Khabib-esque. And in fact, he employs a lot of the same tactics as Khabib, I've noticed. He likes to do a lot of these pull-down rides where you're able to get the guy's hands on the ground and he just keeps all his weight on your hands, and it really wears out the arms of strikers. It's such a smart tactic. He also does a similar thing to Khabib's leg trap, like from backside control, where he just kind of hooks the leg but still traps him and punches really good. He has great wrist control on ground and pound, which is absolutely vital. His just overall style is tremendously smothering, and like I said, once again, Khabib-esque. So I didn't know anything about Gerald Meerschaert before I was researching for this video. My takeaways are I'm not that impressed by this guy, to be real. He was kind of just flicking out some 1-2s and then immediately pulling back afterwards and then trying to wait and counter, and his opponent kind of read it and was just, as he was leaning back, you know, just kind of took a little step and just came with something big over the top. All I saw him throwing was a bunch of 1-2s over and over again. He was just kind of unfluid and too basic. I got Khamzat Chimaev by an absolute demolition job. He probably takes it 2 or 3 minutes into the first round. If, you know, the latest it could go is maybe 6 or 7 minutes. Okay, the next big fight, the co-main event actually. Donald Cerrone versus Nico Price. I really like this matchup. I think it has potential to be very entertaining. Donald Cerrone is just an A1 example of a beautifully trained kickboxer. He just has all those classic techniques, you know, feigning with the right hand to follow with the high kick up. He mixes up levels so well with all his strikes, like that one beautiful combo against Rick Story. Cowboy Cerrone has so much experience, more than anybody. He's the leader in all-time wins, all-time finishes, and all-time fights. And people sleep on his ground game. His ground game is deadly, and it's bailed him out in a lot of situations. So if you rock him or something and end up on the ground with him, or if you just decide to take him down a la Mike Perry, you could get your arm broken. Nico Price. What I've noticed about this guy is he's really unorthodox and is able to throw his opponents off a lot of times. I saw him almost from like a omoplata position, kind of just knock his opponent out with like hammer fist from the bottom. It was crazy. I've seen him get quite a few submissions. It seems like he is a pretty good trained submission grappler. However, one little critique I have is his striking is a little bit robotic. However, it is effective and powerful. Like I just said, he has decent power. That's one good thing he has going for him. If he's able to connect clean on you, he can put you away. The biggest thing this kid has going for him, I would say, is potential. He's still decently young, and he's grown up in MMA. He has experience everywhere on all things. You know, he has a few little setups that he uses everywhere. He's decently smart. So I feel like he could be a problem in the future. The more experience he gets, he could remind me of somebody like a Neil Magny, who just fights literally so many times that you eventually get pretty good at it. The result of this fight depends on which cowboy shows up to the fight. If Cowboy Cerrone shows up, he very well could kick Nico Price in the head early and put him out, or drop him and choke him unconscious. But if the Donald that doesn't like getting hit anywhere on his entire body shows up, it could be a long night for him, and he could have a nightmare in front of him. I'm going to go with my boy Cowboy. I think he's going to get it done. I will say by decision. 28-27, it will be a close fight. When I think about Tyron Woodley, I think about explosiveness. When he first came to the UFC after they acquired Strikeforce, I really liked this guy. I was like, man, he is just too powerful for anybody. And he showed that, you know, he did that over and over again. He put people out, just shut people out over and over again. He had a big loss to Rory McDonald early in his UFC career, which was a beautiful performance by Rory. However, one thing Tyron has going negatively for him is it seems like in his last few fights, he's just been punked out by guys that were meaner and more aggressive. However, he is saying that he will change this, and he's going to let his hands go. He knows he does, so he will. I think that's a very smart decision. He probably is capable of knocking out Colby Covington, especially after Covington's last fight with Kamaru Usman. Colby did take a lot of damage, and damage is accumulative in fighting. If you go through wars, you can't keep doing it forever. Colby Covington. The first thing that pops into my mind is wrestling and pace. Early on in his career, that was literally his whole style. Just a really strong American-based wrestling style. You know, a lot of grabbing your legs and just grinding you against the fence, working his head against you, and just driving you to the ground and controlling you and wearing you out. Recently in his career, his striking has improved unbelievably, really, truly unbelievably. Not even just for a wrestler, but for just anybody in MMA. From where his striking was to where it is now, it's kind of incredible. He now kind of comes in and really he's good at throwing shots and you know, throwing enough to get you to counter, and then he just slips right as you counter, hits you with something else, and he just keeps it going. He has great volume. The reason he's able to use this volume is his conditioning is second to almost nobody. You know, he's right up there with everybody, with Khabib, with Jorge. Well, full camp Jorge, with Nate Diaz. And it's very interesting. His coaches have said that they recently convinced him to switch to orthodox because he's really right-handed, but he just stands southpaw because a traditionally trained wrestler will stand with their power hand forward just to get a little bit better penetration on their shot. But they say now they have him boxing in an orthodox stance and his power has improved tenfold. So it should be interesting to see how this plays out. What am I going to say? Tyron, as much as you're saying you're going to let your hands go and knock this guy out, I would love to see it. Trust me, I think a lot of people would. That being said, I go by last performances. Colby's last performance, even though he lost, he put on a sensational display of will and determination and grit. He was only knocked out after fighting 2 rounds with a broken jaw that he was repeatedly hit on over and over again. And in Tyron's last 2 fights, 2 guys in a row, Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns, put it on him, went forward with volume striking and takedowns. Hello? I'm going to take Colby Covington. Unanimous decision, 49-46. He might shut Tyron Woodley out. He's going to make Tyron Woodley not even want to be there is what I feel like.